3 in the morning in Seattle, and the rain falls the way it always does, thin, persistent, turning the streets into black mirrors. I've been driving a taxi for 17 years. I know every alley, every cheap motel, every corner where the night hides its secrets. But nothing prepared me for that dawn. I was on Pike Street when I saw her, a woman in a dirty white dress standing under a flickering streetlight that blinked like an irregular heartbeat. Wet hair stuck to her face, arms crossed against the cold. She waved slowly, almost fearfully, as if she wasn't sure she deserved to be seen. I pulled the cab over. My instinct screamed at me to leave, but some things you don't ignore. She opened the back door and slipped in without a sound. The smell of rain and something else. Maybe jasmine, maybe just the faded scent of someone who stopped taking care of herself. "Where to?" I asked, looking into the rearview mirror. Her eyes were fixed on the front seat, distant, as if seeing something I couldn't. "Oak Hill Cemetery," she whispered. A chill crawled up my spine. Nobody goes to a cemetery at 3 a.m. Nobody who's okay. I thought about asking, but something in her begged for silence. A sadness so deep it felt physical, filling the whole car. I started driving. The city slept around us. Dark storefronts, traffic lights blinking yellow into nothing. The occasional homeless person wrapped in cardboard. I checked the rear view again. She was shaking, not just from the cold. I took off my jacket, an old leather one my daughter gave me years ago, before everything fell apart between us, and handed it over the seat. "Here, you're freezing." She looked at the jacket as if it were something impossible. Then she looked at me. For the first time, our eyes truly met. There was gratitude there, but also surprise, as if kindness was a language she no longer spoke. "Thank you," she said, taking the jacket with trembling fingers. "It's been a long time since anyone." She didn't finish. She put the jacket on and closed her eyes. I kept driving down Madison, then up the hill where the city grows darker, quieter. The cemetery sat at the top, surrounded by old trees that looked like guardians of another world. My heart beat faster than it should. Something was wrong, or very right. I didn't know yet. The rain eased into a light drizzle as we entered Sunset Boulevard, the avenue leading to the cemetery. The streets were deserted. Just us, the wet asphalt, and the rhythmic sound of the wipers cutting through the silence. I glanced at the mirror again. She was curled up in the jacket, eyes closed, but I knew she wasn't sleeping. She breathed too deeply, like someone trying to hold themselves together. "Late night visit?" I asked gently. She opened her eyes slowly. "Anniversary," she said. I didn't ask whose. I didn't need to. The pain in her voice said enough. I drove slower, giving her time. I've learned this in years of driving. Sometimes people get into your cab not because they need to get somewhere, but because they need to be in motion. They need to feel they can still go somewhere, even if it's just to a cemetery in the middle of the night. "I have a daughter," I said suddenly. I don't know why. Maybe because she reminded me of her. Same age, same fragile slump of the shoulders. Or had. I don't know anymore. She looked at me through the mirror. "What happened?" "I screwed everything up," I said. The most honest thing I'd said in months. I drank too much, lost jobs, lost her trust. One day she told me I was a stranger living in her house. I left that night and never went back. Silence returned, but it was different now. Less heavy. "How long has it been?" she asked. 3 years, 2 months, 12 days. "You count?" "Was every day." She nodded, like she understood perfectly, then turned to the window, watching the dark houses pass by. "Today makes a year," she said quietly. "A year since everything ended." I didn't ask what, but I felt the weight of it. I knew that weight. I carried my own. We passed a 24-hour market where a lonely employee swept the empty parking lot. A police car drove by in the opposite direction, lights off. The city breathed slowly, waiting for dawn. "You know what's funny?" she said suddenly. "We spend our whole lives afraid of death. But death isn't what hurts. What hurts is staying alive after everything that mattered dies." I gripped the wheel tighter. "Yeah," I said. "That's exactly it." She smiled. A small, sad, but real smile. "You get it," she said. I thought no one else did. We reached the entrance of Oak Hill. The iron gate was closed but not locked. Beyond it, tombstones climbed up the hill, stone ghosts under the drizzle. She didn't move. Neither did I. I stayed there, engine running, staring at that iron gate that separated the living from the dead. She remained motionless in the back seat, eyes fixed on the gravestones climbing the hill like broken teeth. "You don't have to go in," I said. "I can take you somewhere else, anywhere." She shook her head. "I have to. I promised." "Promised who?" Silence. Then, myself. I understood. The hardest promises to break are the ones we make when we're alone, on our knees, at rock bottom. I had mine. Promises to call my daughter, to ask for forgiveness, to be the man I swore I'd be the day she was born. All broken. "You shouldn't go alone," I said, turning off the engine. She looked at me, surprised. "You don't have to." "I know." I cut her off. "But I'm going." I got out of the cab. The drizzle hit my face, cold and clean. I opened the old umbrella I kept in the trunk and walked to the back door, took a deep breath and opened it. Empty. The seat was empty. My heart stopped. I looked around. Maybe she'd slipped out the other door. Maybe she was already walking through the cemetery. But there was no one. Just the rain, the gate, the silent gravestones. The jacket was there, folded neatly on the seat, and on top of it, a crumpled piece of paper. I picked it up with trembling hands. The handwriting was delicate, hurried. "Today marks 1 year. Thank you for seeing me." My breath faltered. I looked toward the cemetery. There had to be an explanation. She slipped out while I walked around. She was playing a joke. But I knew. Deep down, I knew. I walked through the gate, rain falling harder now. My boots sank into the wet grass as I climbed between the tombstones, searching without knowing what or who. That's when I saw it, a fresh grave. The stone still new, gray granite shining under the rain, wilted flowers at its base. And the name? Sarah Mitchell, 1998, 2024. She just wanted to be seen. My legs gave out. I knelt on the wet grass, the rain mixing with tears I didn't know I'd been holding back. 1 year. Today made 1 year, and she had come back. I don't know how. I don't know why. But she came back, got into my cab, accepted my jacket, talked to me as if she were real, as if I could make a difference. "Thank you for seeing me." I closed my eyes. How many invisible people had I passed by? How many Sarah Mitchells were screaming silently while I never noticed? How many times had my own daughter cried out while I was too busy drowning my pain in cheap whiskey? I don't know how long I stayed there. The rain washed everything, the cemetery, the city, my soul. When I got back to the cab, dawn was beginning to tear open the horizon, a thin orange line cutting through the gray. The city was still asleep, but soon it would wake. People would go to work, drink their coffee, complain about traffic. Life would go on. But I couldn't go on. Not like this. I pulled out my phone. The number was there, saved, untouched for 3 years, 2 months, and 12 days. My fingers trembled. How many times had I almost called? How many times had I typed and erased messages I never had the courage to send? "Thank you for seeing me." Sarah's words echoed. She just wanted to be seen. My daughter, too. And I had been so buried in my own pain that I became invisible to her, and made her invisible to me. I pressed the call button. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Each ring an eternity. Maybe she wouldn't answer. Maybe it was too late. Maybe, "Hello?" Her voice. Sleepy, confused. But hers. My little girl. "Emily," I managed, my voice breaking. "It's me. I know it's 5 in the morning. I know you don't want to talk to me. I know I don't deserve even these seconds. But..." Silence on the other end. I thought she'd hang up. "Dad? I'm so sorry." The words poured out. "I'm sorry for failing you, for disappearing, for being a coward. You were right, I was a stranger. But I don't want to die a stranger to you, Emily. I don't want you standing at my grave someday feeling what I'm feeling right now." "What are you talking about?" Her voice sounded scared now. "I met someone today. Someone who just wanted to be seen. And I saw her, Emily. But it was too late. And I realized you just wanted to be seen too. And I was blind, so buried in my own misery that I became invisible and made you invisible too. I heard a soft sob on the other end. Dad, I'm not asking you to forgive me right now, I continued. I don't deserve that, but I'm asking for a chance, a conversation, a coffee. I just want to see you, Emily. Really see you. I want to know who you are now. I want you to know I exist, that I'm fighting, Where are you? She interrupted. Oak Hill Cemetery. What? It's a long story. But Emily, I'm sober. 341 days. I didn't mention it before because I was ashamed, because I thought it wouldn't last. But it will. Because today I understood that I can't be invisible anymore. I can't make you invisible. The silence that followed was different. Not anger. Processing. My daughter deciding whether there was still a father on the other end of the line. Morrison Cafe, she said finally. Today. Noon. My heart exploded. I'll be there. I swear I will. I know, she said, and there was something in her voice. Something like hope. I know, Dad. She hung up. I held the phone like it was the most precious thing in the world. I sat on the hood of the taxi watching the sun rise completely. Seattle woke up slowly. Lights turning on in windows, cars beginning to move, the distant sound of a garbage truck. Life came back, the way it always does, indifferent to the quiet miracles of the night. I looked toward the cemetery. Sarah Mitchell was there, under the earth and the rain, but she was also here, with me, in the back seat of my taxi wearing my jacket, reminding me that existing isn't just breathing. It's being seen. It's seeing. I picked up the note again. The delicate, hurried, desperate handwriting. Today marks 1 year. Thank you for seeing me. I turned the paper over. On the back, written in an even shakier hand, was another line I hadn't noticed before. Now go see who needs you. My hand trembled. It wasn't possible. I had read both sides, I was sure. But there it was, as if it had appeared only now, only when I was ready to read it. I closed my eyes. Maybe I was crazy. Maybe exhaustion, rain, and the heaviness of the night had created all of this in my head. Maybe Sarah had never entered my taxi. Maybe I had just stopped at the cemetery alone and finally faced what I'd been running from for 3 years. But the jacket smelled like jasmine, and I never wear jasmine. It didn't matter. Ghost or not, miracle or delusion, that dawn had given me what I needed. The courage to make a call, to ask for a chance, to show up. I got into the taxi. The radio was playing softly, an old song, something about second chances and long roads. I smiled. Sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. I drove back into the city, past Pike Street where it all began. The streetlight still flickered, uneven, a failing and stubborn heart. I kept going. I went home, took a shower, put on clean clothes, looked in the mirror and saw a man I hadn't seen in years. Tired, worn, but present. Alive. At 11:30, I left the house. I arrived at Morrison Cafe 15 minutes early. I ordered a black coffee and sat at the same table where Emily and I used to sit when she was a kid, when the world was simple, and I still believed I would be a good father. Noon. The door opened, and there she was, taller than I remembered, hair shorter, but the eyes were the same. Her mother's eyes that once looked at me with love. She saw me, hesitated. I gave a small nod, my heart pounding. Emily walked to the table and sat across from me. "Hi, Dad," she said. "Hi, Emily." We stayed quiet for a moment, the kind of quiet that carries 3 years of pain, anger, longing, and hope. Then she reached across the table. I took her hand, and for the first time in a long time I was being seen, truly seen. Outside, the rain began falling again, thin, persistent, washing Seattle the way it always does. But inside, in this cafe, at this table, with my daughter holding my hand, the sun was rising, and I was finally awake to see it.